everybody, welcome back to the Fear Be Average trading channel, and today I'm going to be going over my weekly analysis, weekly market breakdown for US30. So let's get right on into it. First things first, we're going to start off on a daily time frame as always, and we're going to basically look at what's overall happening based off of this. In fact, I'm going to start off on the weekly because I know that price has been trading above this weekly bullish order block now for this past week after respecting it for a few days, and that's why we've had this big expansion in price happen this week. So it all makes sense after playing into account, and we're also keeping in mind that we're trading back into this last down candle, this last up candle for this down move right up here. So these are two daily order blocks that we are keeping in mind based off of the range that price is currently inside of. There we go. Daily order block. So we got these two daily order blocks that price is trading inside of based off the weekly. Oh, this is a weekly order block now that I think about it. So I'm gonna just get rid of these. This isn't daily. This isn't daily. Run the weekly. Now we're gonna go back to the daily. I delete it. I want to delete the name of it. Damn, it keeps on like going to the fib. There we go. That. Now let's go back to the daily time frame. You can see that we had this reaction from these weekly order blocks traded to 50% of it, which was also this daily order block right here, where we had this major reaction to the top side. So you can see that's why prices had this major expansion. And also, if we pull our fib from this very high to the very low of this price, you can see we're starting to push above. So we're starting to break structure now to the top side. So one thing I'm going to be keeping in mind is this week, if we're going to remain bullish, we can anticipate possible retracements back to this breaker block right here. If you don't know what a breaker block is, I have a video on it. But in short terms, a breaker block is basically an order block that was respected before. As you can see, it was respected here, but now it's getting broken through, breaking market structure to the downside. We're keeping in mind that we're at this weekly order block area, so there is a potential that we could see a reaction, a retracement of some sort, before potentially trading back higher. So that's what I see for the daily time frame as of right now. Overall, I'm still bullish long term, but I do know that if we do want to see higher prices, there is a chance that we have a retracement. We could possibly pull our fib from here to here, possibly see a retracement back to somewhere this order block, maybe trade a little bit higher, create a form of support for us to pull our fib to, for us to see where prices are likely to react. But if price starts to retrace from here, we know that this 38.20% is right in this breaker block, and we're going to refine this breaker block like we do our order blocks. We just wait for price to create a form of support or resistance up here, so we can pull our fib, or we can map out possible trades to the top side. So let's move on to the 4-hour time frame now. Like I said, that order block that we were looking to take price back into is at 34,800. So we can map out 34,800 over here, which is right here. And you can see that we also have this 4-hour breaker block also, which has either been more confluence for why price should have a reaction in this certain area of price. So let's refine it also. Now we can refine that 34,800 to about 34,779, which is inside of a daily order block, a daily breaker block, and within this 4-hour breaker block also. So now, since we're anticipating price to continue higher throughout the week, we know where we are likely to wait for a retracement to. So let's move on to the lower time frame now, where we're going to frame our setup. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up the previous week's Asian range, so Friday's Asian range, because there's a chance that this will be respected also. So we're going to mark up the Asian range. Just like that, we're going to look at all possible areas where price is likely to have support resistance. We're going to look at this previous day's low, which is right here. And the previous day's low is everything from here to the right. So this is the very low of the day from that day. I'm going to make it red because this is an area that price is likely going to possibly want to target. And we're also going to keep the previous day high in mind also, which is all the way up here. These are areas that price is more than likely going to target based off of the daily time frame, because we know if price is bullish, is more than likely going to reach for the daily low, and if it's if it's bearish, I mean it's going to reach for the daily low, and if it's bullish, it's going to reach for the daily high. So those are two things to keep in mind. Like I said, 34,800 is all the way down here. So if price does have that retracement to it, we will be anticipating price to break these lows right here. And that's really it. There's not really much I could go over right now with US30 based off the fact that it's just expanding right now. This week, based off the weekly time frame, it was just a big expansion off of those weekly order blocks. So there's not much we can do. Analyzing wise, we just have to wait for price to create a form of resistance so we can pull our fibs to then anticipate possible areas where we can look to be buyers from. Because based off of the 15-minute to the 30-minute, there's not much we can do. We can mark up our order blocks and all of that, but none of it's really going to matter until the market opens and show us where we're likely to trade to. But like I said, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. In this general area, there's not really much to look for. Also, this is not much really going on right now in price. So this is going to be a shorter market breakdown, but you guys can see there's not really much I could do. The 4 hour order block we do have is very low, and we're not going to trade to it automatically. So this isn't really an area in price where we're going to really want to keep in mind. We can keep it in mind long term, but the one area we're going to be paying attention to is the 34,800 area. We're also going to keep in mind this area up here also, because this is also a 4 hour breaker block that we can keep in mind that price is likely to possibly react to right here. So these are two areas that we want to keep in mind. This 34,800 has more confluence, so I personally think price is more likely going to trade there. And based off the daily time frame, is also at that area of refinement. So there's a lot of confirmation based off the higher time frame for why we should see a reaction from that area. So all we have to do on the lower time frame is wait for price to create a support, pull our fibs, look for a potential break of structure to the downside, wait for a retracement. Then we can anticipate where price is likely to reach for at 34,800 all the way down here. And we could possibly look to wait for trades like that. But simply, that's all we got to do right now. There's not really much to do with US30. We just got to let price show us what it wants to do based off of the higher time frames. We just got to wait for the market to open and go off of that. But let's go to NAS 100 real quick. Even though I don't trade it, we can possibly look for possible scenarios also for trade wise. As you can see, as of right now, NAS is trading in this order block area. Is about to tap on into it, so we could possibly anticipate price is going to have that reaction to the downside. And if we can anticipate that on NAS 100, we can then anticipate that same thing on US30 to have a same potential move. And you can see it's a very similar setup. We have this 4 hour breaker block. We're about to trade into an area where price is likely to react from, and you can see we just got to wait for price to possibly have that retracement back to the certain area. So it's a very similar thing with NAS 100 and US30. We're just simply waiting for that certain trade to happen. That's all we got to do. We're just gonna let it happen, take day by day, and that's really it. So based off higher time frame analysis, we're overall long-term bearish, but we're going to wait for a retracement for us to be able to capitalize on this expansion. So this is a short little video on US30. There's not really much to analyze in the market. We just got to let it show us what it wants to when the market opens again on Sunday. And that's really it. So hopefully everybody has a good trading week. Hopefully this video was a little bit helpful, insightful for what I think is going to happen with US30 this week. Personally, wasn't the best week last week, but we're going to make the best of this week. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.